Hello everyone, welcome to another team news video from Fantasy Football Scouts. Hopefully you can hear me. There has been a couple of last second technical issues, but I think I've got my hand on it. Sorry for being late. I'm having issues with my toilet, if anyone cares. And Neale Neale has joined us, as always, weekly, because I'm back instead of Joe. How are you, Neale?
I'm all right, yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah, my toilet's fine, so all good here.
It's one of those ones where, like, I moved into this new house, and obviously the toilet was on its very, very last legs. And then as soon as I've moved in, it's just died. And then the plumber's come, and he's like, everything that could possibly be wrong with this toilet is wrong with it. So it's like, great, cheers. Anyway, that's enough about my toilet. Let's talk about some team news, which I'm sure is the real reason why everyone's here. We're going to start at the top. We're going to start with the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday tomorrow, which is Manchester United. We've had Solskjaer saying that Luke Shaw feels better in himself, which is nice. He's been ill. He's still got a shoulder injury, and they've got to make a decision on him. What do you reckon on Shaw, Neale? Does he start or not? It's a key question for a lot of people.
Yeah, but he's been pictured in training today, and he's obviously named in the England squad as well. You mentioned it yourself. Solskjaer said that he's feeling better in himself. It's tough to know with Solskjaer because he gives straight back answers to whatever the situation is, fitness-wise, whether someone's a real doubt or whether they're on the cusp of a return. He'll say the same thing week after week. I've got a feeling that he might start. I think I've got him in my team. I've got an exit plan for him, but this might be his last hurrah this week. Funnily enough, what you're describing your toilet about everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. It's the case with a lot of people's FPL teams this week.
Yeah,
it's quite a nice metaphor for that. But so yeah, Shaw's obviously one of the. I think he's still the most highly owned defender, and will remain yellow flagged off the back of that. But I have seen a picture of him in training today. So that is a good sign. Elsewhere with United, Rashford's back in training as well. You might have seen that. He's going to be in contention after the international break. He's got full contract training to get through first. Maguire's out. But that's it. I think apart from Ahmed Diallo as well, he's still out. But all the big guns, bar Shaw and Maguire, are unflagged.
It's going to make your life interesting as the team news guy when Rashford's back, and you've got to start predicting who's going to start with Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood, Pogba on the left, Fernandes. It's very interesting. I very much regret mentioning my toilet, by the way. I don't know if you're looking at the comments in the chat. There's a very childish people out there. I'll just say. Everton then, so Benitez, Seamus Coleman and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are not ready yet. They are training though. They're starting on the pitch little by little, but they're not ready for the game. So are you expecting them to be back after the international break?
Yeah, that seemed to be the intimation from Benitez. The fact that they're already doing bits of work on the training grounds and they've got another fortnight before Gameweek 8, that does sound quite good. They're another man down, or could be another man down this week, Alex Iwobi. He has got what Benitez said was a minor problem or a little problem, and he doesn't know whether he's going to be fit to feature. So, it could be a little formation tweak. That only means good things in terms of the likes of Gray, Townsend, Decore, Ronda, and it means they're almost certainly going to start because of the complete lack of alternatives that they've got at the moment. Whether he goes to a 4-3-3, brings in someone like Davies instead of Iwobi, or plays Anthony Gordon or someone like that, but it's not a great situation at Everton at the moment. But they will, by game week 8, that will hopefully have changed quite a bit.
It's good news for United then. Kind of a bit of a patched up
Everton
team.
Yeah, well, they struggled last weekend against Norwich. I mean, it looked like a routine win on paper, but they didn't really create that much. Credit partly to Norwich because they played a new system, wing-back system, looked a bit more solid in that, but there wasn't I think they were running on fumes a bit. I think, and Benitez even said they're relying heavily on other players stepping up. Gray, Decore, and Townsend, I think, are way overperforming in terms of expected goals and things like that. So the sooner they can get back Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, the better, because Rondon, he'd be a handy deputy, but he's clearly off the pace at the moment. He's not quite up to it, I think.
Yep. Agreed. Okay, moving over to Burnley then. Sean Dyche on Vidra and Cornet with Vids. I think he's got a strong chance of being with us and available. I love it when he calls them by their nicknames. He doesn't think Maxwell will be. He's going well, but it'll probably be too quick a turnaround, and it's probably too risky. So fairly cut and dry with Dyche for once, right?
Yeah. By the sounds of it, Vidra's got a better chance. Rodriguez is also another one. I think that wasn't on the original tweet. He missed last weekend with a hamstring problem. He's been back on the grass with the physios. That doesn't necessarily mean he's match fit. Dice said he's got a chance of featuring, but I seem to be suggesting that Vidra would have a better chance. And he started last weekend, so if he's fit, he probably plays because he did quite well. The other call is who comes in for Corney. I think it's probably Goodmanson, like for like. Particularly given that it's Norwich at home and you'd want to go for the juggler and play your most attacking players, I think. So Goodmanson, I think, will come in on the right.
It's normally not a week where we're all kind of considering Burnley players, but I guess if you're planning on the wild card in game week 8, knowing the Burnley team there might be a bit of a punt you can do for 1 week.
Yeah, well, I can exclusively reveal that Matt Loughton's making the scout picks this week, so
we're
entering into the spirit of target Norwich.
Absolutely. Speaking of Norwich, you've got Daniel Farke will be without Zimmerman, Cantwell, Placheta and Byram this weekend. And there's a question mark over Billy Gilmore. So they've got problems themselves, Norwich. And yeah, Gilmore missed out a few weeks ago. We kind of thought that was just a rest. But do you think there's anything a bit more sinister going on with him? I know he played last week, but it'd be 2 games he's missed if he misses this one.
He was benched last week as well. So it was... I think, is that 2 games he's missed now? I can't remember. One of the reasons I got rid of him on my wild card was because he isn't going to, you want your 4.5 million midfielders to be playing every week and coming in for those emergency.
He played when I needed him. He got a bonus point. And then...
he did. Yes, he did.
I think he might have missed out the week before that. So I think he's missed out, played, and now he's looked like he's going to miss out again, potentially.
Yeah, he's missed 2 of the last 3 already. So this will be 3 or 4 if he misses out. Which is not great, for your budget midfielder. He wasn't part of it last week, I think, based on tactical decisions. I've read a few Norwich forums, and they haven't been sort of, I wouldn't say overly enamoured. I think he started very well. He was excellent pre-season, but hasn't quite sort of captured that pre-season form when the competitive action got underway. I think part of it is to do with the fact that he's not really a defensive midfielder, and he was playing as such until they brought in Norman, who definitely is a midfield shield. So I'm sure there is a room for him in that system, 3-man midfield. It's just that they've got the likes of Lise Malou and McLean and people like that as well. Yep. Rupp. So I don't think he's going to be as regular as what we hoped. And Farke had previously said that he wants to protect him against overloading as well, because he's still a young man, and you don't want to hand him too many minutes. So I suspect there are better 4.5 million options out there now.
Tricky balance, because you think he's going to be one of their key players if they're going to have any chance of staying up. But saying he doesn't want to overuse him means he's probably not going to play every minute. I do fear for Norwich going forward. Let's check in with Chelsea. So I think if you were to ask anyone who they would most like to hear your thoughts on, it would be Tuchel's boys. I think you're earning your salary by predicting who's going to start and all of that. Just from this, it looks like an absolute nightmare. Don't know if you saw the Guardian's predicted lineup, but it was like Chalobah was in and Werner was in over Havertz and stuff. So the things we do know, Reece James, very sarcastic response from Tuchel. Maybe Reece goes on England duty with the water polo team. He's training in the pool right now, so my understanding is that he will not go on England duty. So it doesn't sound like he's got any chance of starting at the weekend. Mount is back though. It was not a long-term injury, and we're happy that he's back. So Mount back, James out. What do you reckon? Who's going to be in defence, Neale? That's what everyone wants to know.
I do not know. I'm going to answer that in the form of my predicted lineup, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, fitness wise, it's not just those two. It's Kante's out as well. He's isolating with COVID, and Pulisic I think is still out as well. I didn't hear anything on him fresh. He had been back in individual training, but I don't think he's been in full training as of yet. But yeah, James is the one. It's been a roller coaster week for James owners, because I think originally there was some scaremongering going on, saying he might be out for 6 weeks. Then Tuchel said a week minimum. And then yesterday, Southgate named him in his squad, and we thought, all right, he's got a chance of playing this weekend. But that doesn't seem to be the case. The fact that he's in the pool as of Friday, training, or rather keeping fit, not in training. So he's, even the Chelsea website today were very unequivocal, saying he's got absolutely no chance of playing in Gameweek 7.
No,
maybe that's a message to England.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think it's mind games. I think it's a case of saying we do not want him to go on England duty, so we're not going to play him. And
absolutely.
He's not going to go. Yeah. So, yeah, James owners will be upset. So, Chilwell versus Alonso. Who's going in the scout? Who's going in the predictions?
I'm not going to speculate just now. I need to do more research into that and look into various things. But I think one thing you could say is that Mount's probably going to feature. Now, there was comments on him this afternoon from Tuchel saying that him and Kovacic are the only one who's developed a good understanding with Lukaku so far, and that he's got this good connection with him, and they've missed Mount's link-up play. So, by the sounds of it, I think Tuchel wants Mount straight back into that team. And yeah, the defense is going to be hard to predict, and as is the rest of the team, because Tuchel said after that loss to Juventus that there were some tired legs and bodies out there, and minds as well. You would ordinarily have thought as Azpilicueta fills in for James at right wing back, but you've got Hudson-Odoi who can play there. As you see, you've got Chalobah who can come in and play in the back four. Rudiger on the surface hasn't got any direct competition for that left-sided centre-half role, but Tuchel's previously said that Christensen can cover on both sides. I don't think he's actually done it yet, but he can do that. So I will not be surprised if there's a surprise benching or two this weekend. He can't afford to see too much ground, of course, in the title race. He'll want to win that, and it will be a strong team. But I would get your benches ready, because people will be going double, triple ups on Chelsea, and someone's got to miss out, and I suspect 2 or 3 of the bigger names will do so.
Ooh, so you have to wait and see for your prediction later on.
I'll specify later on once my prediction lineups are done. Yeah.
Okay, very good. I tried to get on this video, but we have to check out Fancy Star later to see who's going to be playing. Southampton then. So Jack Stevens is out. The rest don't have any big issues. 1 or 2 players are a little bit struggling. It's always nice when he gives us vague information like that. But then Hasenhüttl said yesterday we had all the players on the pitch, so it couldn't be anything too serious. Hasenhüttl and Stuart Armstrong, since this week he's training with the team. We'll have a look how he is. If he's part of the squad on the weekend, then we'll decide what to do with him. He was 42 days out, I think. So Stuart Armstrong, not Adam Armstrong, which confused me at first, is coming back into contention. And Southampton, I think a lot of people were thinking this week particularly, easy win for Chelsea. They've been putting up a decent fight. So getting players back means they might end up having a good season, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've solidified over the last few weeks. A few tactical tweaks here and there, and Livramento, of course, has been part of that, and they've got some really good fixtures coming up. Team news-wise, the 3 who are flagged for match fitness are Armstrong, Walcott, and Smallbone, all back from injury layoffs, and all on the training pitch. It's just whether they're match fit enough to feature. Hasenhüttl said that they'd have to obviously assess Armstrong, who's been out for that's like 6 or 7 weeks. So, but Stevens is the only long-term absentee.
Yep. Let's move over to Leeds. So, a bit of an injury crisis at Leeds going on. Rafinha is available. Don't think we're too surprised by that. Bamford is still out, so if you've still got him, it might be time to part ways. Another player who was injured but is now available is Llorente. So a bit of, at last, some defensive kind of reinforcements coming in. Ayling has a problem in his knee that's going to require simple surgical intervention, which doesn't sound too good for him for a while. They'll also require some time after this procedure is done.
Yeah, you summed it up nicely there, as you're doing my job for me this week. Rafinha is he's fine, he's past fit. And Bamford we heard from on the Leeds podcast actually earlier in the week before Bielsa was up, and he was given a bit of a time frame. He said that he's got around about 10 days, or within 10 days, to be back in full training or running. Sorry, and then within a week of that, he'll be within full training. So that's 17 days. That puts him at doubt maybe for game week 8, never mind game week 7. He's definitely out of game week 7. But then he's not guaranteed to feature against Watford, which is Watford this weekend. Whoever they got against game week 8, let me find out. It's part of their good fixture, and Southampton it is.
That's it.
That's on Saturday the 16th. So that's tight, a tight turnaround. So I've got Bamford. I kept him, despite the rumours that he was out for a month. Luke was absolutely right. He tipped me up onto this, and he was absolutely right. It's exactly a month. That was a time frame given by Bielsa as well. So, game week 8 possibly, but game week 9 is also scenario that could happen as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ian needs surgery, and Robin Cox out. But they've got Strout back, and they've got Llorente as well.
Yeah, I mean it's very difficult with someone like Bamford, because obviously got the good fixture and you want to keep him for it, but run the risk you keep him and you're missing a striker for 2 weeks, and strikers are your most precious assets really. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't fall into that trap. I call it, if you can call it a trap. Watford. So Itebo tore a quad muscle in game week 6, and he's had to be 4 to 5 months. So a big blow for them. Cleverly has a concussion, and Bachmann is back available for Leeds game. So that means Foster owners probably won't be having him play so much anymore. But this is probably the nastiest injury, right? Because this is one that's sort of half a season or something for a key player of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't in the team last weekend. He had started the season as part of that midfield three. But yeah, he's going to be out until 2022 now. He's that's one less body in the midfield. They have got a lot of options there. Like Sissoko's been playing a bit deeper. I think we all hoped that he would be this gung-ho 4.5 midfielder who gets into the box a lot, but he has been deployed a little bit deeper in recent weeks. And as you said there, yeah, Bachmann's back fit. So we're not entirely sure whether Foster is number one. Because when Bachmann was benched, that was the week when Athletic reported that he had a knee problem. He did make the substitutes bench at that point, but then missed the following game. So this will be the acid test, I suppose, this weekend, now that they're both fully fit, and we'll see who gets the nod.
I hadn't considered that Foster might actually be first choice. I just kind of assumed he was only playing because Bachmann was out.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it was a game week 5 when Bachmann was on the bench, but we're not. It's a bit sketchy that we don't know whether he was, because obviously goalkeepers, if you're not fully fit, you could probably still make the bench because it's so unlikely that you're going to be called upon. But then he missed out the following week, so a bit odd.
Yeah,
we'll find out this weekend for sure whether Foster's number one.
Yep, interesting. Wolves. So Bruno Lage confirms that Nore is back available and there's no fresh injury concerns, which is good. And Raul Jimenez will join up with Mexico, but will return in time for game week 8. And he got his goal as well.
He did, yeah, which is the feel-good story of last week. I know he's the big one, I suppose, coming back because he's the positional rival for Marcel. Marcel, who has had an absolute stinker in the last couple of weeks. I brought him in for game week 5 and then watched the Brentford game, and he was abysmal, and followed it up last weekend with another pretty poor showing as well. So I am worried that he's going to lose his place, and there's a lot of Wolves fans clamouring for Aït-Nouri to come in, especially if they keep him in the wing-back system. I think that the sort of general rule is that Aït-Nouri is better going forward, which would suit a wing-back role, and Marcel's the better defender, which would come more into play if it's a straight back 4. So whether Lager likes the balance of having Semedo, gallivanting down one side and Marcel slightly more restrained in the other side is one possibility. But I am concerned that one of the players I'll be relying on for a start this week, given the red flags elsewhere, isn't even going to feature. So bit of a worry.
It's a nasty week this week, isn't it? There's lots of doubts around so many popular players and flags, and players like Trent and James, and now Marcel as well. I mean, someone like Marcel, you don't want to be touching that spot. 4.5 million defender, you want to leave them in. They've got good fixtures coming, and now you're getting a bit of a headache around it as well. So I think the toilet analogy is bang on, to be fair. Your team then, Newcastle. Willock is fit and available after his earlier than planned return. I thought he was out of the last game, and then he was in the starting lineup, so that was interesting. Obviously, Callum Wilson, Shelvey, Lascelles, and Dubravka, big names for Newcastle, are out, but are nearing a return to training. So, what's the kind of timescale with them? Do you reckon you need them back?
Yeah, it looks well. Bruce is saying that they're all hoping to be training over the international break. So, there's a lot of managers saying that. Just because they're saying they're back after the international break doesn't necessarily mean game week 8, of course. It could mean, I suppose, any time in October or November. But Wilson, Dubravka, Shelvey, Woodman's part of that Dummett as well. A lot of red flag players. Willock, as you said, there was ruled out last weekend, but then after Bruce's presser, he'd come into training and said he felt a lot better. And lo and behold, was named in the starting 11 last week. Bruce has confirmed that he's come through that unscathed. Said that the performance at Watford was our best of the season, which isn't saying much. So we've changed system the past couple of weeks, gone back to a back four. So I think it'll be similar setup this weekend.
Yep. From your team to my team, Brighton are next. Main bit of news is Bissouma is making progress, and a decision on his involvement will be made later in the week. Danny Welbeck, I didn't see this. Danny Welbeck is seeing a specialist on a hamstring issue. Oh no, when did that happen?
I think did he come off against Palace with that? I think he subbed off. I think he was. But yeah, Alzati as well, who came on at half time. I think he's now out. He came off from Dan Burns, and it was a tactical change, but Alzati's injured. Mwepu, I think, as well, is out. That was the Brighton website was saying. I didn't hear that from Potter himself. And I think that might be it. But yeah, Lamptey's back, of course. Lamptey's been on the bench for the past couple of weeks. Potter was asked about him, and he said he just needs the right time to throw him in. Whether that's risky or not, I don't know, because he's barely tasted anything. He had 45 minutes in the cup, and he obviously, given his track record for muscle injuries, they might choose to bet him in a bit more gradually again. Bissouma's the big one, of course, this weekend. I think it doesn't sound great.
It doesn't.
Potter says they're going to leave it late to make a decision here, but he said that last week, and I think they're probably planning. He went on to talk about replacements for Bissouma and getting the right balance. So I think he's going to miss out again against Arsenal, which is good news for Arsenal.
That's not what I wanted to hear as a Brighton fan. Let's move over to Arsenal then. So this is a fairly simple one. Xhaka's out for 3 months with a knee problem, but everyone else is available. Anything to add?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Summed up nicely.
Yeah, good news. Good news for them. Not Xhaka's injury, obviously, but the other stuff. Aston Villa, Dean Smith on Liam Bailey and Morgan Sanson, recovering well. Both had muscle strains. Only minimal muscle strains, but we have to make sure they're right. We're hopeful they'll be back sooner rather than later. So, God knows what you do with that, Neale. They'll be back in a few weeks, probably, I guess.
Yeah, again, another game week target for those two. They will have Twanzebe back this weekend. Villa, they had him out with was in eligibility, wasn't he? Because he was low knee at United. So he's back this weekend, and I guess it's a question of whether he comes in for Courtney House, because they've been playing very, very well in this 3-5-2, and Bailey being out, I suggest, makes that even likelier to stay as it is, because he's, as I said in the team use tab, he's probably the one player who would force a formation change just to fit him in, because he's so explosive based on the little evidence we've seen so far.
Yep.
But at the moment, that midfield three is playing very well, and they're very solid at the back as well with an extra centre half in. So it might be the same again this weekend.
I wonder how they're going to incorporate him back in, because it seems to be working, doesn't it, with Watkins and Ings up front and the wing back formation. So could he play at wing back? But he's not going to replace.
But he did. I think he brought him on for Target in that game against Everton. I think he played him at wing back. I think Smith said Target was playing so high up the field anyway that he thought he might as well bring Bailey on and play in that position. So yeah, very interesting.
Anything from Spurs?
Not really. We've had Nuno wasn't named amongst we had 19 press conferences named from our list that we get, and Nuno wasn't among them. He was the odd one out. That's because he had a post-match press conference last night after the Conference League, and some quotes will have been held back from that and released. I haven't seen any yet. It might be tonight. It might be happening on air now. But we do know that Bergwijn and Sessegnon were the two injury doubts. They missed the Conference League match, and were still sidelined. I haven't heard of anything fresh from Spurs, but if I do in the coming hours, then I'll obviously have a tweet ready for you online, or I'll mention it in the team news tab.
Look forward to it. Liverpool next, another big one here. So Trent is out. Confirmed of this week. No news means they're doing well, but they won't have enough time to be back for City. That's Thiago as well. But he expects them both to be back after the international break. I mean, it's come at a bad time. I mean, I know it's against City and we're probably not expecting massive returns, but it's a time when squads are stretched to their limit, and you've got, a key player like Trent out, and people have got to decide what to do with him, because I'm seeing people selling him all over the place and going for Chelsea defenders who also might not play.
Yeah, I think the slightly lack of definitive update from Klopp. He didn't say exactly that he'd be back for the international break. He said he hopes and then he thinks, which is a bit of a worry. You'd want him for that fixture. That is Watford, game week 8. After that, and either side of that, it's the 2 Manchester clubs. Then Brighton are decent defensive side, then West Ham, then Arsenal improving. So it's not a brilliant run, but then Alexander Arnold's been on such a great purple patch. I think I wrote in the wildcard article for Defenders, last 15 games, I think he's averaged over 7 points per match, and within that, he's hauled against the likes of United and Arsenal, who he's got coming up. Yeah. So this is obviously dating back to the end of last season, but he's just been in such good form, and I'm in that boat myself. I've played my wildcard already, and one of the things I'm looking at is whether I can take him out for a little while, bring him back in a couple of weeks' time. And yeah, this was with a view to playing both Ronaldo and Lukaku this weekend, so I've got to think about it.
Yeah.
And then bring him back in once I downgrade Ronaldo in game week 9 to sort of a mid-price forward. But yeah, it is fraught with risks doing that with Alexander Arnold, because he can haul out of nowhere, as Andy will tell you.
Absolutely.
After that Boxing Day match at Leicester.
20 plus points, I know. And he's playing, that level at the moment, I think, where he could hit a return like that. And the trouble with it is that you're probably always going to have other things you want to do. It's never just as simple as, I'll just bring Trent back in when he's fit. It's like, but you might have a striker out, or you might have other problems to deal with. I'm ditching him this week. I'm getting rid of him.
Are you?
I am. I need to. I've got Soufal as a doubt. I've got Trent out. I've got Veltman, who'd be playing along with Sanchez, and just a few problems. But I'm wildcarding this week, so
okay. You're gonna back. Fair enough.
If he's confirmed back for that, then I'm gonna bring him back. I'm definitely not going without him long term. He's just, I think he's probably the best asset along with Salah at the moment. Let's go over to West Ham. This was annoying. This is again a bit like your Marçal might be dropped. I wasn't expecting Soufal to be a doubt. He's a chance of recovering for game week 7. I don't like the sound of that.
No, it's a bit of a sketchy one from Moyes. We always criticise the likes of Solskjaer and formerly Eddie Howe for the vague updates. Moyes is low-key one of the least helpful managers, because he mentions knocks and niggles. He mentions players who are doubts or a little bit concerns, and he never gives anything away beyond that. He just gives you the loosest detail. Kufal, we missed out last night. This was the Europa League match, and I think he was just a minor doubt for that. So sounds fairly positive. He's been named in the Czech Republic squad, which is decent news, I suspect, if you're an owner. But that doesn't help you out this weekend. What you need is certainty if you've already got flags elsewhere. And we can't offer you that, unfortunately. We'll have our eyes peeled online. Maybe ex-West Ham employee can help us out with a bit of inside knowledge on Twitter. But at the moment, he remains flagged and far from certain to feature. Other than that, though, it's fine. We did see Antonio hold his groin a bit last night, but I think someone said he'd actually taken a direct hit in the nether regions, so that was the reason for that.
Oh, don't say that.
Moyes didn't mention it.
Antonio holding his groin or his hamstring or anything is one of the worst sights you can see when you've given how well he's playing. Yeah, Soufal's just one of those really annoying ones where I've got him and I just want to know if he's going to play or not. Because I was all set on doing Ronaldo to Lukaku captain this week, but I think given that doubt, I'm now just going to move for a Chelsea defender, move Trent out, and I don't really know. Captain Antonio, I guess. Although now you've worried me that he's done his groin. But thanks, Neale.
I think he has.
I think he has. Okay. Oh, I'm scared now. Okay. Sorry. Just going back to West Brentford. I don't think there's anything.
We've not heard anything from them. No, Frank was meant to be up this morning, and I haven't seen anything. I've not seen anything on the website. I've not seen anything on the Athletic or West London Sport yet. I've seen Ethan Pinnock's been called up by Jamaica, so that would suggest he is all right, because he came off last weekend against Liverpool with a hip problem. I think Frank said afterwards that he's hoping he's going to be all right, but he's been named in the Jamaica squad, so that's always a good sign when that happens. Unless, of course, you're Reece James in England.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone, Lies D in the chat. Like the video, only 100 likes, but 1,000 people viewing. Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of that. So we can keep doing these. Right, final game then. Man City Everyone is fit except for Zinchenko and Gundogan. I expect both back after the international break, hopefully. So, I mean, they've got a hell of a squad now, haven't they?
Yeah. It's tricky to know what he does, because he doesn't want to obviously do exactly the same thing he did at Chelsea, because that'll be too easy for Klopp. It'll be a very similar side, I'm sure, because it's that press will be even more valuable against someone like Liverpool. But yeah, again, I've got to delve a bit deeper into the forums and local rags to do my predicted 11. But you will expect the likely lads to feature, the likes of Diaz and Roca, Cancelo, Grealish, De Bruyne, people like that. It'll probably just be one or two places that we're debating over. But I would think it'd be a very similar lineup to last weekend.
Okay. So your predicted lineup for City's out tonight as well, is it?
Not yet.
Oh, I'll be very interested in that as well.
Always leave that late. Always that one to the last moment in case I can get anything.
Yeah. I don't
whatsoever out of Pep.
I don't blame you at all. So I think that's most of them covered. The only one we haven't mentioned is Leicester and Crystal Palace, I think. Obviously, Rodgers' press conference was late. I think you mentioned to me that Ndidi is a doubt, or is he out?
Yeah, he's a major doubt. So that sounds like he's out for this one. He was suspended, I think, for Thursday, but then I've just seen a quote from Rodgers saying he was also injured with a hamstring problem. And I think he said very doubtful for this one, so it sounds like he's missing out. Johnny Evans as well. I initially reported that it was a recurrence of this foot problem that's been keeping him out, but I think it's illness. So he missed Thursday night as well. Apart from that, I think that's it. Apart from the long-term ones, Justin and Fafana.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anything new. Ian actually didn't play last night, but nothing to worry about because it was just a documentation issue, and he
saw that. Yeah,
flew back home and is fresh, as Rodgers said.
Yeah, and he won't be very popular considering another poor performance from Leicester, and he probably would have started that game, I imagine, if he'd been.
I would have thought so, yeah.
If he had the right passport, or whatever it was. The final team is Palace. Then any news from the Palace camp?
No, not that I've seen. Vieira did hold his presser, and I've not seen anything reported yet, other than a bit of praise for Gallagher and general discussion. I hadn't expected anything injury-wise anyway, because as far as we know, the only absentees are Eze and Ferguson, because Schlupp came back last week. So I think those long-term ones are the only doubts.
Does Ferguson actually exist, or is he just a myth?
He's not played a single minute, has he? And we've been talking about him for 14 months now, ever since he signed. He was the $4 million defender of choice in pre-season, wasn't he, last year? And it became apparent that he was just not fit, and then not fit again, and then another injury, and then a recurrence of an injury, and then a setback, and just hasn't. I think he might have featured for the under-23s or something once, but he's still red flagged. I think he's making progress. I've seen a target date on FPL, 27th of November, but I would take that with a pinch of salt. But what is he? What price is he now?
It's a shame,
he's 4.5. He's gone up in price. He's gone up in price. I have not paid a single minute last year. That's
got to be a first, hasn't it? It's amazing. It's a shame. I mean, obviously, young player, loads of potential. People were excited about him last season because they thought he, could break into the team and and would be a massive upgrade on what they had. And yeah, just hasn't worked out. I hate those kind of things. It's a bit like Lamptey as well. Like Lamptey just keeps breaking down, surgery, and then but now it's good to see him back. I've got to ask you this one question. You probably won't answer it because I know what you like. Jota, does he start against City? Loads of people in the chat ask him. Will he be in your
Jota?
Yep.
I can say that. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Firmino starts. Yeah, I'm going to. Last time Liverpool played a big six team, I think I was right in saying Firmino had never been benched at the expense of Jota in a big six match since Jota moved to the club. Now they have played together in a big six match. I think Jota left Firmino to the middle, and I think they played 4-4-2 against City. Was it last year? They went absolutely a crazy formation with all four of them playing.
All four of them, yeah. I remember it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They won as well. Did they win as well?
I cannot remember. But I'll be amazed if that happens again. But you never know. I would definitely not be confident of him starting this week. There's always a chance he could. And of course, Firmino is just back from injury, but Klopp really trusts Firmino in these bigger games, and he likes his off the ball work. he's dropping deep and things like that. So I think Firmino's going to start. It's just whether Jota's included as part of that.
Another headache for people with Jota. Wondering if he's going to start or not. I mean, there could be people with just getting 7 or 8 players out this week if you've got the wrong guys in your side.
Yeah, it looks like one of those. Yeah, it looks like it's probably a good week for wildcarders to steal a march. On the rest of us, because I mean I've got a full bench already of flags, and that is without the rotation risks like Marcel.
Exactly.
So yeah, and Jota's in my team as well, so absolute nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Neale, I think we're done. We've covered everyone. Just a shout to the members area. Neale, I will see you again. I won't see you next week because it's the international break. I will see you the week after that. It's another international break. Just when you feel like you're getting into like a rhythm with things and stuff, and then another international break comes in. But hey ho, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I like them. I can actually take a day off work.
You've got people bugging you for who's going to play for Chelsea and Liverpool all the time.
So. Exactly, yeah. Bit of respite.
Nice. Right. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you in 2 weeks.